All right, welcome back to another CartoonSmart.com video tutorial podcast. You know, you really need some sort of intro music that, I know you got that silly little stinger where the logo comes up, but you need something that like says more of like a real jingle. Do you know what I'm saying? And by the way, you know what my favorite thing to watch you do is you hit the record button and then you take a big breath. And if the big breath goes on too long, you stop because it's like, oh, whoops, I've delayed people by 1 second with the big and then begin, right? It's funny that you can see that considering that you are, I thought you were in Florida Skyping in with me here. Oh, well, no, I'm here with you today in the office. I drove up just specifically for this podcast. And by the way, since I am sitting at your desk here, can I just ask you one small thing? Is that communal deodorant right there? Because I could use just a little bit. No, it's mine. Don't put it on. Okay, well, you're lost, I suppose. Okay, so what are we doing again today? Just another, like, you put out too many of these Swift tutorials for free. Can I just point that out? Well, yeah, but it's these are all things just coming from the Swift programming language, just straight from Apple. And, you know, we might as well just work through it together here. And I think there's only about 5,000 or so pages in the programming guide, and we're on 57, so I think we're doing pretty good. We're skipping over some things. Thank God. And I don't say that lightly because I am a God-fearing man, by the way. Some people just say, oh, thank God, or oh, my God. But no, I reserve that for things like thank you for not going page by page here. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go through generics. Is that what the thing is? That's the brand that I only ever buy, by the way, is generics. So this will help me out probably. Hey, you know what? I noticed that the font is really small. Do you think that we could go over here under, I got control of your computer, under preferences and maybe freshen things up a little bit with the, let's see, what can we do? Oh God, that is, oh, now that time I was, oh, dear God, that was horrible. I didn't mean to use your name lightly. My apologies. But there are some bad combinations inside of here. Oh, wait, this is what I wanted, the presentation one. Look, if we just do that, everybody that is on their mobile device or whatever could see this a lot more clearly, I think. Okay, so yeah, now are we ready to begin? You're the one messing around. All right, here we go. Let's start over here. Everything is really big now. That is true. That's funny. But I get what you're saying. This, if you were on a mobile device, this could be a little bit better. All right, so we're going to put a repeat item over here. And I suppose this is the generic part of it that we're putting in this thing that we're kind of making up. We're calling it an item. Which is not sort of something that we normally see before the parentheses when we begin to write our function over here. And then what we're going to do is write item. And this is going to be something that we're going to pass into the code or the function. And then we're basically declaring it. It's going to be this item type, which could be a string. It could be an integer. It's apparently whatever we want to repeat. And then we're going to also pass in here the number of times that we're going to repeat this. Are you getting tripped up a little bit by how big things are? I know I am. That is stunningly big now. Yeah, it is interesting. Okay, so, and then we are going to put over here that we are committing to returning an array of whatever that item was that we basically assembled through our code here. And remember that this is how you would write an array in Swift. We're basically declaring that the array is going to contain whatever this is, that item over there. So let's then continue. So we're going to write over here. And again, I am just copying this. Yeah, how come you don't just copy and paste it all? It seems like we would be done in 2 minutes if you would just do that. And then I could go drive back to Florida to do whatever it is I do over there. Well, I think it's a good idea to just kind of step through here one line at a time. So we're going to create a variable over here. This is going to be our result. And this is what we're going to return. So there is, you know, parts in between here that we're going to write. that would be kind of like the meaty inside, right? The juicy, steaky parts that are going to get all nice and moist on the grill and everything like that. What are you talking about? So then we're going to assemble this result inside of here, and then we're going to return that. So as long as we go ahead and return right now, it's not going to complain that we are, leaving that part out. What it's just telling us here is that this is very strange that it's so big. That well, how come that part is not? They didn't think that this was good enough to make big. Didn't fix it. No, we don't want to fix it. We want that to be a variable, not a constant, because we're going to change this in the upcoming for loop over here. Oh yeah, the for loop. Now this is one of those things that they did change and Swift 2 point whatever, the unnecessary changes that they always make. I got no problem with this change. I think it seems normal to me. All right, so we're repeating back our number of times, so that's just that same variable over there. And yeah, this is kind of a strange looking way to write a for loop. Let's go ahead and close it off so that they stop complaining about it. But normally in a... What are you complaining about over here? Are you just complaining because I don't have something inside of there? You know what I think it is? I think you need to put a little space right there. See, I saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, don't do the 0 with the dot dot. All right, well, you are learning something, Cleavon. Okay, so normally what you would have is a situation where you put in like a variable like this. So you'd say for I in 0, and basically I is going to be, it's going to kind of increment upwards throughout the iteration of this loop for as many times as you put in here a number of times, or really one less with the less than sign right there. But what they're kind of making the point is probably over here already is that I was never used, so you can replace it with this underscore, right? It's kind of like you just smushed the I down, or it just fell over dead. And then so it's like, well, you're dead. You're not going to get used anyway. I'm sure that's exactly what the engineers at Apple thought when they were doing that. Okay, so then what we're going to do is put in here result.append. There's the append already. And then we just put in there the item, whatever that was that we passed in to this function. Of course, we haven't actually passed anything into here. And but it's written, it's ready to go. I guess we could get rid of some of the extra spaces down there. So let's remember, we are just in a little Swifty playground over here. So let's make sure that we can see what the end result will be when we actually call the function. So we're going to say repeat item, and they put in here knock. Oh no, knock. I never like that. When someone's knocking at the door, that usually means that they really want something, and that's never a good thing. Okay. So, all right, you got the 4 in there, and what's going on the sidelines? Knock, 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 knock. All right, well, and it's showing you, too, that you repeated this 4 times. I guess, I suppose that if you put in here, 5, that it would do it another time around. Would you look at that. Boy, oh, boy. Woo! Yeah, what do you know? That is pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean, I guess the exciting thing here is not that you can put a string in or just a single type of thing in here. You can put anything in. So let's say, for example, I don't know. I mean, the easy one to throw in here is just a number. It's going to repeat out a number a bunch of times. So that's I guess the whole idea behind this being a generic, you know. What? So you're saying that item is not something that is just part of the Swift library? Because it kind of sounds like it item, that, you know, it sounds technical in a way. Could you do I don't know, could I put in here like failed marriages? And then what would happen to it? Well, you'd have to copy this and put it in place of the other items in here. So you're going to assemble then an array of failed marriages. Oh, would you look at that now? Well, nothing's different. But the whole point is that it's still working. It's just a generic item in here. Oh, I see. So then what if I put in here like Brandine was I can't even spell her name right now. Brandine, yeah, no, it actually had 3 E's over here. That was part of, there we go. and Y actually was right before the N. Yeah, now that I knew something was off about that. Nowadays, that is definitely Brandine. The emphasis was always on the Dean part. And well, how come it didn't put in the other wives over here? It's just repeating out the same thing that you put in 4 times. So I mean, you could just put in there 1 if you only, had a failed marriage once with Brandine. No. Wait a second. No, we actually, she was also my 3rd wife too. So we would put in there 2, and then there would be 1 in the middle over here, and then, well, I kind of don't count her. That's why sometimes I say I've been married 3 and 4 times, because I don't really count her twice, but in chronological order. I mean, we'll put it this way. We repeated the same exact wedding that we did the first time around. It was catered by McDonald's, and it was, we had a Big Mac buffet. And actually, that was one of the better weddings. So anyway, yeah, I guess I kind of get the point here. I mean, I would probably prefer this to put in all the ex-wives over there, and then I could just do the same thing that we were talking about with the Ford, is just smush them up into like a little underscore and just toss them out, right? Not use them anymore. Don't you mean... all right, Cleavon. Well, that seems like a good enough lesson for today. And is there anything else, I guess, that we should talk about? Well, you are still doing your card and board games tutorial. That seems to be going on at a breakneck pace. Apparently, you can record the same number of podcasts as you can get into that lesson, because I noticed over here in your Google Drive that you've got, let's see, that's what podcasts we're up to. And then if you cut back over to, let's see, where is it? Over Google Drive. It's just up at the top, right? Card and board games tutorial, session 3, and you are at what? 21. So it looks like the podcast and the premium tutorials are about tied for right now. I started them at the same time, it takes a while to build these things up, and we're making an incredible starter kit where you can essentially, not have to do any sort of programming, and you can have a cool card game. You could mix a card game and a board game together, like, as we were talking yesterday, Chutes and Ladders. Yeah, that is pretty good. I did lose about $120 yesterday playing Chutes and Ladders at the job site. So actually, I'd rather not talk about Chutes and Ladders. But I do understand that it would be neat to make a complete, very cool iOS or tvOS app. I don't even know what that is, tvOS. You told me to say that. In fact, you're holding up a card and pointing to it that just says tvOS. Whatever the tvOS is, it's the Apple operating system for the new Apple TV, where you can install apps and stuff like that. Oh, so you're saying what? There's some gold mine money now in the TV and selling apps for the TV. Yeah, there's only like 5,000 or 6,000 apps for it, compared to 2 million or something like that for the iOS operating system. So yeah, you can be kind of a big fish in a small pond. Oh, could you really? A big fish in a small pond. You probably know nothing about catching big fish in any sort of pond, but that's a conversation maybe for another day. Yeah, that probably would just be a good conversation for another day. Well, actually, you know what, though? I was kind of thinking about this. Do you think that technology will advance to maybe, say, a point where we could have our own robots and things like that not only could do the programming for us, but also do day-to-day tasks, like perhaps I could get on the boat with the robot and be like, can you fish out the fish for me from the lake and skin them and, chop them up and everything like that and fry them and everything? Do you think that, that is what, like a year away, or is it closer to like 2 or 3 weeks away? I'd say like 10 to, no, maybe like 20 years away. A robot fisherman, is that specifically what you're asking me? Well, I mean, yeah, somebody that I could be like, hey, robot friend, do you think that maybe you could help me out with the fishing today? You've already made him your friend? Well, I mean, I'd assume that he's just always kind of following me around like a good dog or something like that. And yeah, even if he didn't talk that much, I would imagine that we would get to be pretty close. Really think, all right. Well, yeah, I don't know. Now I'm getting a little dreamy just thinking about it. It would be kind of nice. Do you think that maybe that could be a CartoonSmart.com tutorial? Just how to build your own robot today, not have to wait a few years? Because I don't know how many more years I got left in me. What you're not, you don't feel like you're doing so good? Well, no, it's not. It's that, I mean, let's put it this way. If you were like Cleavon, 20 years from now, you get to have the robot fisherman friend. I would say just go ahead and freeze me now. And when science catches up with all the problems that I got with my health, sometimes I feel like if I don't stay perfectly still, I'm going to have that heart attack. If I do any sort of moving or blinking or something like that, I can kind of feel it in my heart. So I would say, yeah, let's let science figure this one out. Cleavon will just be on the back burner for 20 years. And then, when everything's ready and it comes time to unfreezing people, then get me back up again. It's when it comes down to unfreeze. Do you think there would be like what? A guy just marching the hallways at the the freezer tube lab that is just randomly like what? Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like if there was a guy that was his whole job to just kind of walk around with a clipboard, he would probably walk by my freezer and be like, a guy with the Fu Manchu and the hat still backwards and the farmer's tan and the cut off sleeves. You know what? Maybe tomorrow we'll wake him back up. There's no rush on old Cleavon. Yeah, I could see that would probably be the case. Yeah, just move along. Nobody needs him. We got the robots for doing all the things that Cleavon used to do. And if a lawnmower blade breaks off and cuts off a robot leg, nobody cries about it, and it doesn't cost the government much to fix that. So, yeah, I could see pretty much if I froze myself, there is no waking me back up. There's really just turning off the power and saying goodbye, which is probably what we should do. We've managed to go an extra 5 minutes or so. We were so close to closing this down, weren't we? We almost had hit the stop button, right? Yeah, I mean, you almost had, but I really got nothing going on, so I can just sit here and talk all night. Apparently you can. Okay, all right, well, go to CartoonSmart.com for non-rambly tutorials about things that actually kind of make sense. Okay, bye.